Welcome to Edinburgh. Edinburgh's the capital city of Scotland with a population of 564,000, and it's located in the south-east of Scotland, and it's bounded to the north by the Firth and Forth and to the south by the Pentland Hills. And a couple of little facts about Edinburgh for you now. The first being that the Royal Mile isn't actually a mile, it's longer than a mile, it's 1.12 miles or 1.81 kilometres, so it's classed as a long mile known locally as a Scottish mile. And although Edinburgh is well known for Edinburgh Castle, it does in fact have two castles. Not many people know this, but the second castle sits just a few miles away, and it's one of the best preserved medieval castles in Scotland, called 𝐂𝐃𝐈𝐍𝐁𝐔𝐑𝐈𝐕𝐈𝐓 And depending on how you plan on coming to Edinburgh will depend on which route and mode of transport that you take. And Edinburgh's easily accessible by air, car, bus and train, with the most popular train station to come when arriving into the city being Waverley train station. And if you've seen any of our other videos, you know that I like to throw in a few little facts here and there. And a little fact about Edinburgh Waverley Station is that it's the only train station in the world named after a novel.
Interesting.
And it's also the second busiest train station in the whole of Scotland, with the first busiest, if you wanted to know, being Glasgow Central Station. We arrived into Edinburgh by bus, which we got from where we were staying, which was Setton Sands Holiday Park, just 13 miles outside of the city. And this was our first time visiting Edinburgh, and we'd made a rough itinerary before coming to the places that we wanted to see and visit. And if you're anything like us, then Edinburgh Castle will probably be on the top of your list of things that you'd like to see when coming here. And the castle's situated at the top of the Royal Mile, and one thing that I would strongly suggest is to book your tickets online early in advance to save you money and guarantee your entry on busy days, because walking up on the same day, tickets can sell out during peak season, especially in the summer. Edinburgh Castle's one of Scotland's most iconic landmarks, sitting high on an ancient volcano right in the heart of the city, and for over 1,000 years it's been a royal residence, a fortress and a stronghold, and a symbol of Scotland's power. Inside you'll find historic treasures like St Margaret's Chapel, the oldest building in Edinburgh, the mighty Mons Meg Cannon, and the crown jewels of Scotland.
Wow!
And every day here, the famous 1 o'clock gun still fires. It's a tradition that's been going on since 1861. And once you're inside the castle, there's some of the best viewpoints in all of Edinburgh. The first that you come across is this one at Argyll Battery, which gives you sweeping panoramic views over the entire city. Princess Street Gardens, the Scott Monument, the New Town, and all the way to the Firth and Forth. And we've got lots of things to show you here in Edinburgh. However, just in case that you wanted to know more about Edinburgh Castle, we've done a more detailed video about this place on our channel, so we'll leave it here for now and go and explore some more of Edinburgh and head down the Royal Mile. This famous street's just over a mile long, and as you walk down it, we'll have a look at some of the things that you can see. There's lots of street performers, artists and musicians, all showcasing their talent, along with some more prominent figures like the world's most pierced lady. And this is Tom Gilzean, also known as Tom. And this statue commemorates this military veteran who was known for his fantastic charity work. And while we're on the subject of statues, as we explored Edinburgh, one thing that really stood out were all the statues that were dotted around the city, each one telling a different chapter of Scotland's story. And right in the city you'll meet some of Scotland's greatest minds. There's Adam Smith, the father of modern economics, and David Hume, one of the most influential philosophers, in which local tradition dictates that the touch of his toe can bring you good luck. You'll also come across figures who changed the world in other ways, like David Livingstone, the famous explorer and missionary, and Adam Black, the publisher and former Lord Provost, as well as powerful military figures that watched over the city, like William Wallace, Scotland's iconic freedom fighter, the Duke of Buccleuch, and Earl Haig, the commander of the British forces during World War I. And what's amazing is that all these statues aren't hidden away in museums. They're right there in the open, woven into the streets and gardens of Edinburgh. And speaking of gardens, Princess Gardens, a nice green space that you'll find in the heart of the city, which runs alongside Princess Street, the busiest shopping street in Edinburgh. And in Princess Gardens, not only can you get to see some of the best views of Edinburgh Castle and the Old Town, you'll also find one of the largest monuments in the world dedicated to the author Sir Walter Scott, which stands at an impressive 61 metres. And let's dive deeper into Edinburgh with some things that you might find useful. There's a free walking tour where you can learn a lot about the city, and they run throughout the day from the Old Town. Although if you're not a fan of history, there's Harry Potter tours and ghost tours also available. And I'll link all these tours and activities for you in the description below, including the various whisky tours available. And if you've ever wanted to learn about the origins and the art of how they make this renowned Scottish whisky, then a whisky tour might be up your street.
Thank you very much.
One thing that is interesting is learning about the different types of whisky from the different regions and how each region has its own brand with its distinct flavour and taste. And you may or may not be wondering about the food here, and I'll cover that for you shortly, but first we'll have a look at some of the other things that are available to do here, like the World of Illusion, which is situated at the top of Royal Mile near Edinburgh Castle. And if you've got 70 minutes to kill, pardon the pun, there's Edinburgh Dungeons, because apparently that's how long it takes to partake in that activity. And located just across from Waverley Bridge is the Travel Hub, which, if you want some information on how to travel Scotland or need tickets for any of the transport, then this is a place to come. And another convenient place to come if you're feeling hungry or thirsty is this Wetherspoons, which is right next to the train station. These are always really good value for money, and we got some awesome fish and chips in here, as well as a taste of what's often called Scotland's other national drink, which is Iron Brew. And while we're on the topic of food, there's many bars and restaurants where you can sample some of the renowned local Scottish cuisine, or try something a little bit more out the ordinary, like a slice of haggis pizza with an Iron Brew. And you might want to bring something home for your family or friends, and there's no shortages of shops where you can buy souvenirs. With tartan being quintessentially Scottish, you're spoilt for choice regarding tartan items like scarves and kilts, as well as classic souvenirs like the famous Scottish whisky we aforementioned earlier. There's ample shops that sell not only the big bottles but also smaller travel-sized bottles too. And this is a good point to start wrapping this video up now. We've covered some of the most essential things that you can see and do in a day when visiting Edinburgh.
Are you ready? One more time. Where's the weapons?
Although there is many of the things that you can do that I've not covered, like going to Carlton's Viewpoint, the National Gallery. However, I hope this has provided you with something of value, and as usual, I'll put a few outtakes up at the end of this video. But before we leave, another popular place in which you can spend anything from a few hours to a whole day at in Edinburgh is Edinburgh Zoo. And if that's of interest for you, then we've got you covered in a video we've made specifically about Edinburgh Zoo, which gives you all the information on ticket prices, what you can see and do there. But for now, I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much.
I hope you got something from this video, and as always, we shall see you on the next one. You enjoying Edinburgh Castle? Doing your bit for the environment. So we've just got back to Setting Sands after an interesting day in Edinburgh. Did you enjoy Edinburgh? What was your favourite part of Edinburgh?
I think fish and chips.
Fish and chips. So we got your Scottish dress on, which is probably the worst Scottish accent you'll hear for the day. And we're off to Bonnie Scotland.